Hi, my name is Eric Andrist. I live in Valley Village, California. In 2002, I gave up my career to care for my disabled sister, Callie. She was mentally retarded. She had the learning ability of a 4-year-old.
And then in 2012, she came down with a terrible stomach ache. So I took her to the ER. And this is where it gets hard to tell. She laid in the ER for 15 hours, writhing in pain, and they didn't give her any pain medication. She was screaming and hollering and just in such terrible pain. They never actually diagnosed that what she actually had was a strangulated bowel that had burst and was sending toxins into her abdomen, causing sepsis. She should have been sent to the ICU for immediate surgery. In the meantime, they sent her for a CT scan, a second CT scan that was actually unnecessary. And in order to do that, they gave her a radioactive beverage to drink so that it shows up on the CT scan. But shortly before they gave her that, they finally gave her some pain medication. And they gave her a drug called Dilaudid, which is 7 times stronger than morphine, which knocked her out. But because of the sedative effect of the pain medication, she ended up aspirating that radioactive beverage into her lungs, which caused pulmonary edema and sent her into cardiac arrest. The hospital was under the wrong impression that she was a DNR, a do not resuscitate. Why they thought that, we don't know, because it's in her records that she wasn't, and I was standing right there telling him that she wasn't. But because they thought she was a DNR and she was laying there in cardiac arrest, they stood around doing nothing. They didn't even try to revive her. When they realized that they were wrong, they called a code blue, and they were finally able to revive her 17 minutes later, but it was too late. She was already brain dead, and she died the next day.
Wow.
It was pretty horrific.
We did big Halloween and Christmas displays in our yard for our neighborhood, and it made her so happy. I'm sitting here going, what am I gonna do this Halloween and Christmas? I don't know. I don't think I can do it. Because so much of what we did in our lives were for Callie, and she brought us such joy.
I had never even heard of the micro law until probably 2012. And I found out that it's this law that was passed in 1975 that limits the pain and suffering damages on lawsuits that victims of medical errors bring in court. And it caps the amount at $250,000. So we try to tell people about this law because it's a slap in the face when you finally hear about it at the wrong time. Usually in a medical malpractice case, there's 2 different ways that they get paid. One is economic damages. So if you have worked all your life and you have an income and you're going to lose out money from missing work in the future because of the injury, that's economic damages. That can be covered in the lawsuit and paid for. There's no cap on that. The other portion is non-economic damages. That's the pain and suffering damages. That's what's capped. So not everybody is limited to just the non-economic damages. My sister was, because she was mentally challenged. She wasn't married. She had no children. She had a learning disability. She didn't work. So she had no real income. So she didn't qualify in her lawsuit for any of the economic damages. She only qualified for the damages that were capped. So the medical and insurance industry is very, very strong, and it's just an uphill battle. There's actually a nonprofit organization called CAP, whose sole purpose is to protect MICRA. Its sole purpose, it's the only thing it does, is to protect MICRA.
And it's obviously backed by the insurance.
Of course. Yeah.